Do you think I could have a few lights? Thank you. For 20 years, this is the studio where I did most of my television work. And when I used to come in here, it wasn't empty and cold and a bit sad. It was packed with actors, cameramen, lighting, wardrobe, makeup. This whole area would be covered with sets. Over here, half a church. Over there, a jungle. Over there, the laboratory of Dr. Frankenstein. There was bars, bedrooms, boudoirs, banks, even saloons from Dodge City. All memories. In here, for me, there's lots of ghosts. And sadly, no spirits. But I don't know why I'm talking about it. Why don't I show you? Could we have the lights out, please? Thank you. A little bit of music. Thank you. Sounds of people. Maybe a little bit of laughter. Thank you. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the show. And may I say, your very good health. Cheers. It's extraordinary, in a way. It's very illogical, actually, when you pick up something which is purely alcohol and say to somebody, good health. When you actually think of the properties of alcohol, the damage it does to you, it destroys your brain cells, gives you enormous headaches, double vision, DTs, destroys your stomach lining, your bladder, your kidney, your liver. And we say, good health. We say, cheers, good health, long life, happiness. We should be actually saying, misery, short life, bad health. It's very odd, that, actually, isn't it? I mean, we don't actually pick up anything that's healthy. We never toast somebody with a glass of water or a cup of tea. I mean, if you're in a bar, you look across and you go... You're in a cafe with a cup of coffee, you know. One other thing that the Irish actually are accused throughout the world of being perhaps the most illogical nation in the world. Now, I don't actually think that we are illogical. I think that we are a nation of what would be termed lateral thinkers. I don't mean we lie down and think about it, but we approach subjects in a different way. For example, I guarantee you, if you go to Ireland and ask for directions from an Irish person, 9 out of 10 people will advise you not to start from where you are. It's just a different approach. They'll say, I wouldn't start from here if I were you. Go over there, it's nearer. I actually I'd been out of Ireland for a while, and I went back and I was in a restaurant, and on the menu, it said goose. I haven't seen goose on a menu for years. So I said to the waitress, I said, how's the goose? She said, I don't know, I didn't ask him. I said, no, what's it like? She says, it's like a white duck, only bigger. If you want to actually examine what is termed Irish illogicality, perhaps the best place in the world to go to is to courts. I watched a man in an Irish court, and the judge said to him, he's charged with some menial offense, and the judge said to him, how do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? And he said, would you mind awfully if I listen to the evidence? You see, well, the English, they pride themselves on the logic. They look on the Irish as a totally kind of lunatic nation people. And I was reading recently where London Transport have lost, last year, 40 million in unpaid fares. And I thought to myself, well, if they applied Irish logic to that, they could save themselves a lot of money. All they have to do is to cut the fares in half, and they'd save themselves 20 million. The English are the most illogical nation in the world. And you're guided by the most illogical notices in the world. For example, in this theater here tonight, the audience that are here are informed by the management that when you leave here, you must leave by the exits only. Now, I'm Irish. I don't have to be told that. There's solid wall, gap. I go for the gap. I live near a graveyard which actually has a sign which says, do not use the footpath to the crematorium. It is for patrons only. I love things when I see a door which says, this door is not an exit. What is that? This door is not an exit. I've actually seen it in Manchester. I was walking up a laneway. On the outside of a door, it actually says, this door is neither an exit nor an entrance, and must be kept closed at all times. Why not just break the bloody thing up and forget about it? Now hang on. That is on the outside of the door. So that means you've got to go into the building, come through the door, go outside, and you see, oh shit, I'm not allowed out there, I better go back. I mean, I love it when I see things like part-time females required. Who's a part-time female? I saw a notice recently which says, are you illiterate? Are you unable to read and write? If so, contact us at this address. I mean, I go through Soho and I see it which says live girls dancing. What do you expect? Stiffs on a piece of elastic? I've actually seen by the River Thames a sign which says this area is liable to flooding. If this notice is covered, do not park your car. My favorite, actually, is I've seen, have your ears pierced while you wait. What else are you going to do? Take them out. I'll be back. And when we get to the illogicality of any situation, when I think the English, for some reason or another, seem to believe that they impart knowledge and information and understanding through Proverbs. They speak in proverbial forms. They say, parents will say to children things like, never cross your bridge until you come to it. Believe me, there is a proverb in the English language which actually states, learn to cut your fingernails with your left hand. One day you might lose your right arm. I mean, they're amazing, the English. I mean, they really are with your language. I mean, I was looking for a house, trying to buy a house a few years ago. And every house I went into, people, generally the woman in the house, would show me around the house. And she'd say things, most obvious things. She'd say, this is the kitchen. She'd show me with a table and a stove and lots of plates. This is the kitchen. This is the lavatory. The cellar is downstairs. I mean, there's that lovely thing. Have you ever sat in a bar at a table, 2 or 3 empty chairs around it? Somebody's bound to come up and say, are you sitting in that chair? No, I'm sitting in this one. No, well, what I mean is there anybody sitting in that chair? Yes, there's 8 people having a gangbang. Have you ever sat, say, in a park on a newspaper? Sit on the bench, it's wet, and you put a newspaper down, sit there, somebody will come along and sit beside you. I guarantee you, after 5 minutes or 2 minutes, they'll turn around and say, are you reading that? Yes, I have an eye up my anus, I always read. And the English, actually, when they meet somebody who doesn't actually speak English very well, they don't ever work it out and reason it out that the person does not speak English very well. They work on the premise he's deaf. Go get to a German or something like that. You want to go where? Well, then you go down the road. Go down the road. Down the road. You found bloody Poland, didn't you? Within the illogicality of England, if I, for example, working on the assumption someday we'll have a nice hot summer, go into my garden, and I like the sun, and I decide to strip naked and lie in my garden naked, and my next door neighbor, female, looks out of her window and sees my nakedness. She can actually see my genitals. My private, oh my God, what a word, private. She can actually phone the police and have me arrested for indecent exposure. Now, can you imagine that happening to you? Your career is wiped out. The company that hired, my God, I didn't know he was like that. Your wife will wander around, the neighbors will say, oh, poor darling, my God, imagine being married to a beast like that. Your children will go harassed in school, all the kids, yeah, Dad's a flash, yeah, And yet if she goes into her garden and lies naked in the sun, and I look at her nakedness, she can phone the police and have me arrested for being a peeping Tom. I've actually been prattling on for a long time, a bit too long time. I think it's time, actually, that I did a little bit more damage to my health. And while I'm damaging my health, you can watch some sketches.
Senor, do I have a last request?
Si, certainly.
A cigarette.
Why not?
A cigarette is no good without a light.
Only one request.
Confession to make?
Yes, Father.
Carry on, carry on.
Well, I'm very, very ashamed of what I've done.
It doesn't matter. God is all forgiving.
Thank you, Father. Well, I went walking by the river yesterday, and I was just sitting there, you know, chewing a piece of grass, when this sheep, well, this ewe, came down to the river for a drink, Father. And, well, she looked at me and I looked at her and... Oh, well, she had the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen.
What?
She had the most beautiful eyes.
I heard you. She had beautiful eyes.
Yes, well,
Go on.
Father, we just fell in love. And we...
You fell in love.
Yes, we made love.
You made love to a sheep.
Yes.
Physical love.
Yes, Father.
Fornication.
Yes.
God almighty, you bastard! In 20 years, I've never heard the like of that in my life. Get out of my confessional box. Get out of my confessional box. Get out! Get out! You've probably gathered I was educated by the Catholic clergy. God's stormtroopers. One of the things I've never understand about the Catholic religion is what I would call the inequality between the sexes. I mean, as far as a woman is concerned, she enters the clergy, all she can do, the top job she can get, is Mother Superior. That's as far as she can go. Men can become priests, monsignors, bishops, archbishops, cardinals. They just keep on going up. And finally, the Pope. The other thing I've never understood about religion is that the higher you go in rank in the Catholic Church, anyhow, the better your clothes get. You notice that? I mean, the priests, the little lowly priests, all drab, all black. Can the monsignors move up? They get a little bit of color. And the bishops, they can wear black and they can wear purple. They can wear black with red trimmings. Look, just slide up. The archbishops, they can wear black and purple. The cardinals can wear bright red. Black and purple. And the Pope, he can wear anything. He's got white, yellow, black, purple. He opens his wardrobe. He can wear rings, jewelry. Little hats, big hats, enormous hats. Can you see him in the morning open his wardrobe? Well, what shall I wear today? My matching accessories, eh? And the Pope, this Polish Pope, he's a great traveler. Have you noticed him traveling? Travels everywhere. And the extraordinary thing is, have you seen him when he gets out of an airplane? First thing he does is kneel down and kiss the ground. And whatever host country he arrives in, that's what he does. And all the people stand there and say, isn't that marvelous? Isn't that wonderful? This emissary from Rome comes to us, and out of admiration for our land, he kisses the ground. Crap. He's like me. He's bloody terrified of flying. He's down there saying, oh, I thank you, Corrida. Oh, I'll never fly again. You see, he's just been down to Australia. Sponsored by a brewery. Durex next. The Pope that we have actually at the moment is he's very strict in many ways regarding the teachings of the church. Birth control, he's very strict on. There's no such thing as birth control. There's no pill or sheath or anything like that. And quite recently, a mathematician worked out that if there's no sort of birth control in South America, by the year 2020, there will be standing room only. That'll put a stop to it. Do you know the only way you could bring me back into the Catholic Church is to have a Chinese Pope? I would love a Chinese Pope to be elected. Can you imagine receiving Holy Communion from a Chinese Pope? Kneels down. Oh, you gonna have this here or take away? And how name you this child?
Victoria Mary Ann.
Victoria Mary Ann. I baptize this child Victoria Mary Ann. And may God bless her, all who sail it.
Dearly beloved friends of St. Jude's, it is with heartfelt joy that I ask the Bishop to bless the new chancel window. This beautiful work of art is dedicated to the friends of this parish, and in particular, the choristers of this church, who have raised so much of the money to support this noble creation. Bishop.
Thank you, Vicar. I offer my blessings to the diocese and dedicate this window to the everlasting glory of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna forever.
I don't know how you feel about what is called the 12 days of Christmas, the festive season, but we're only halfway through it, and I'm actually bog-eyed with exhaustion. Totally. I mean, the only reason I'm doing this show is when they said to me, would you like to do a show? And I thought, good. That'll give me a rest from the holiday. I mean, I don't know whether I'm getting older. Well, I know I'm getting older. And I'm quite happy to get older when you consider the alternative. But I'm beginning to find that Christmas is becoming much more
stressful. I mean, years ago, I could actually deal with things like Christmas tree lights. Now, I'm one of those few people, actually, I don't bring my Christmas tree into the house until Christmas Eve. The lights work perfectly. Looks beautiful. 2 hours before the shops close, every little bastard light goes. And for the next 2 hours, I am scampering like a lunatic around London, like a demented lunatic, in ever-increasing circles, searching madly for one little green Christmas tree light that was made in Taiwan in 1967. I still, even with the Christmas tree, what is this lunacy with Christmas trees? What is this need we have at Christmas, because a young Jewish child was born in Palestine, we suddenly say, we've got to bring Christmas trees into a house? Can you imagine at any other time of the year, if you brought a tree into the house? Silver balls on it, and a fairy on the top, it'd put you away. Now, actually, this year, to ensure that I got a good Christmas tree this year, I went and picked it earlier. I got it 2 weeks ago. And it was perfect. Beautiful shape. Wonderful, wonderful shape. Dark green, thick, bushy. That was then. Now it looks like it's suffering from acid rain. Even the fairy on the top is losing his hair. I spent half of Christmas sweeping up, cleaning up those pine needles so many times that the bag on the side of my Hoover looks like a fat porcupine. Now, the only thing regarding Christmas and Christmas trees is it's not only difficult to get a Christmas tree, but if you think back over the past Christmas, it's even more difficult to get rid of the bloody thing. I mean, you try and get rid of the Christmas tree at the end of Christmas, the dustman won't take it. You can't burn it because you live in a smokeless zone. And you find yourself, after the Christmas, surreptitiously creeping around your neighborhood, trying to find a builder's skip. And you can't find one, so you dump it in somebody's garden. And you think, thank Christ, got rid of it! Come back to your own house and there's 2 Christmas trees. To me, as an Irishman, the most annoying thing about Christmas is wrapping paper. Now, why can't the manufacturers of wrapping paper make wrapping paper so large that it can wrap up 2 presents? Why is it always just 1.5? It's actually got to the point now that I buy my presents to fit the paper. I buy a big present and a small present. And the other thing I've noticed about Christmas, you buy a box of crackers, and it says, made in Great Britain with foreign parts. Aren't we all? And the thing about that, the crackers, it's not the crackers so much, it's the hats. The hats you get in those. Why can't they fit? You either get them slipping over your eyes, or they sit there perched on the top of the head. Now, who do they test these hats out on? I mean, are there 2 fellows in Singapore sitting in some little sweatshop, one with an enormous head, and one with a head 3 7/8? Oh, this for me, what a for you. Oh. The thing is that indoor fireworks, too. Have you seen it? Indoor fireworks. The serpent. You light it. Zzz, bingo! Dog turd. It looks exactly like dog turd. Mount Vesuvius. Dog turd. Hot air Zeppelin. A flying dog turd. It is actually one of the most stressful times of the year for all families are under tremendous stress. And if you watch yourself over the Christmas, your family become enemies. Everybody needs wiping out. That smile tightens. Your voice, which used to be ho, 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 is now up to, no, you can't! Stop it! Put it down! If anybody does that again, my God, we're meant to be having a good time! Find yourself, stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Boom! Stop it! Stop it! Boom! One of the things I've noticed about changing Christmas, you can actually get a room full of children together now and sit them all down in a room, and if you say to all these children, who was born in a stable? They'll all say, My Little Pony. Well, I actually think it's about time that we got on with the show, don't you?
Hello there, Sam.
Hello, Dave. All right.
See the match the other night?
Morning, terrible, eh?
God, they're getting worse.
Hey!
What are you doing? Let me see you. That's a big salad.
As you see, gentlemen, we are here. The enemy are there. If there is an enemy offensive, I expect his tanks to break through right here.
Me, Tarzan! Me, Tarzan. Me, Tarzan. Me, Tarzan. Me, Jane. Him, Tarzan.
John.
Always wondered why you were called Little John.
Out, damn spot. Out, I say. I said out.
Hurry, Watson. I fear that we are too late.
All right, Holmes.
Watson? Squire. Squire, tell me, what have you seen? Steady up, man. It's imperative that we must know what you've seen. The life of your daughter depends on it. Watson, you're a medical man. Calm him down. Find out what he's seen.
All right, Holmes. Now then, old man, you tell me what you've seen. Oh,
Watson, what has he seen?
Thank you very much. Oh, gosh, doesn't it look good? You're over there, Diane. There. You're there. Sam, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Well, you're just there. Bob, you're on the far side.
Okay. Spreading the heart.
Doesn't it look, you see, look at the colours. The colours are so beautiful. I mean,
Yes,
that's
the most spare ribs. Right.
Would you like to pass me some?
Oh, some crackers, certainly.
No, Bob. No, the table. Just stand the table.
Oh, it turns round.
It's a revolving table.
Right. Which way?
Which, either way.
Either way. Should we go to your right? Seem to be...
No. Just turn.
It's not going in.
It's not. Excuse me. The table. It doesn't revolve. It's not turning. It should revolve.
According to Greek mythology, the god Zeus created women or woman to punish man. He created a woman called Pandora. He gave her two things. He gave her a box, which he told her never to open, and he gave her a curiosity which he knew that she could not contain. He knew that eventually she would open the box and release upon the world all the ills and evils that have plagued us since. Tonight, I would like to tell you a true story that not only illustrates that the sin of curiosity still lies in a woman's bosom, but I would also illustrate with horrifying clarity that the power of the supernatural still exists. My story begins in Ireland around the turn of the last century. A young man returned to his ancestral home with his bride. And for the first few weeks there, she busied herself getting to know her neighbors, the countryside, her servants, but above all, the house that was her home. It was a large, rambling type of house with nooks and crannies, long, endless corridors, interjoining staircases. She was quite happy exploring this house for hours upon hours, until eventually she thought she knew the house from cellar to attic. And when she thought that she knew the house from top to bottom, she discovered herself one day in the west wing in a corridor she had never seen before. On the wall of that corridor was a tapestry depicting the casting out of Lucifer from heaven. And behind the tapestry was a door, a locked door. She tried every key on her key ring, but to no avail. The door remained locked. She placed her ear against that door and thought that she heard sounds similar to the sobbing of a child. She asked her servants about the door, and all they would do would avert their eyes and say, "Ask the master." And that night at dinner, she did. She said, "What is the room? What is in there? Why is it locked?" A coldness came over her husband. He looked at her with eyes that were both angry and frightened. He said, "You must never, ever attempt to enter that room." And she said, "Why?" And he said, "I do not know. All I know is that in 400 years my family have lived here, nobody has ever set foot in that room, and nobody will. Please do not bring up that subject again. Do not talk to me about the room or the door." The weeks passed, but she could not get rid of this thought of the door. She was intrigued with it. Her curiosity was aroused. The room was like a magnet. It drew her back time and time and time. She would stand in front of that door and wonder what was in there. And then fate smiled on her, or so it seemed. One day when she was placing some flowers upon an old dresser, she noticed a small recess. She put her hands in, and as she put her hand in, a small wooden lever moved underneath her exploring fingers. A panel, the back of the dresser, slid open, and there was a dust-covered key. She knew, without any doubt, that she had found the key to the locked door. Now, the chance for her curiosity to be satisfied. She waited, she waited, she waited. Until finally her husband was called away on business. He would not return until the following day. That night, she dismissed her servants early. She retired to her room and waited. And when she was sure that the house was completely still, with a smile of anticipation, she took the key from her pocket and, aided by the flickering lamp, ascended the darkness of the stairs, down the corridor, until as she last stood in front of that door which had intrigued her for so long. With beating heart, she put that key into the door, and a single hollow click, it opened, and the door slowly moved inwards. There was nothing in the room that she could see except an inky blackness. She took a step, another step, another step, until she found herself in the center of the room. She raised her lamp above her head, and as she did, the flame flickered and died. She was engulfed in this darkness, a darkness so heavy, so thick, it was almost physical. She screamed. It was the scream of a woman totally terrified. A scream of a woman who knew that she was about to be destroyed by her own curiosity. A woman screaming because she had finally found out what was in that room. And mingled with her own screams was another sound, a sound so obscene, so primeval, it defied definition. She looked over her shoulder only to hear the door slowly close, knowing that whatever escape she had was cut off. And as the door closed, it not only cut off her escape, it cut off her last fearful sobs. What made her scream? What evil was in that room? What supernatural force made that door close on its own? I have no idea, but if I ever find out, I'll let you know. My dearest Queen, I am near to death. You have been a wonderful wife and mother. Take care of my son. Teach him to be honest and a worthy successor to my crown. And as for you, my love, weep not. I would not have thee sad. Nor would I have thee a widow. Thou art far too young and beautiful to spend your life in widowhood, mourning me. My dearest, I give to you the key to your chastity belt. ever noticed, if you compare animals to humans, as far as females are concerned, sex rears its ugly head. What is normally complimentary to a male becomes a total insult to a female. For example, if you say of a male, he's a ram. He's a real, you actually think of great sexual prowess. He's a ram. A bull. He's a real stag. I mean, people say that. A stag. Oh, stag. He's a stallion. All highly complimentary. But you get the female of the species and you apply it to a female. You call a woman a cow. There's nothing nice of you, cow, fat cow, stupid old cow. I mean, if you say to somebody, he's a gay dog, you're thinking of somebody who's, she's a bitch. Sly, sneaky. Fox, you think of a fox, he's clever, sharp, intelligent. Vixen, mean, crafty. You can't even say a male person or a female person. You actually say things like person, chairperson. I mean, chairperson, we all know it's a female sitting on the chair, but it suddenly becomes a chairperson. We're not allowed to say female. And even when it actually comes to advertising for occupations, you can't advertise a certain sex. I actually saw an advert which says, urgently wanted, person to breastfeed. And just to show how stupid that ad was, I applied for it. And I got it. I saw another one which says, person of either sex wanted as a sperm donor. I applied for that one, too. I didn't get that one. But one of the main changes in today's society is our attitude to what is we would call the stereotype of the sexes, or the role that the sex plays. If you actually think back to your childhood, we had very distinctive lines. My mother was a great believer in what we would call sexual differences. When I was 4 years of age, I would walk with my mother down the street, and my mother would say things like, David, walk on the outside. I go, what do you mean? Walk on the outside of me. Why, Mummy? It leaves your sword arm free. What are you talking about? I don't have a sword. No, but in the days years ago when men did have swords, some men might want to attack the female, so the male would walk on the outside of the female so he could get at his sword and fight that person. See? And that's why you walk on the outside. Well, I don't have a sword. No, but you protect Mummy. You protect male. You're a male. You are the stronger of the two. Males are the hunters, the providers. Females stay at home and make a home and a nest and keep it warm for the great... Stop crying! Stop it! Now, if a bus were to come up on the pavement, you would save the bus from hitting Mummy. I can't stop a bus. No, but the bus would hit you and stop before it got to Mummy. Up yours, I'm going on the inside. But over the years, women are much more independent now, and I'm very pleased with it. They're much more aware of their own sex. They're not quite so prepared to play that subservient role to the hairy macho that existed. Do you remember that? I mean, there was a time when girls would wait for the initial advance from the male, which generally came after the pubs had closed. And in between technicolored yawns and belches, herself or her body was subjected to a kind of groping, fumbling attack. And
if she had suddenly said, all right, take me, he'd go... See, there is actually what I would, in a way, there's a reversal, a role reversal taking place. Women are much more, as I say, independent. They're much more prepared to go out and pick up somebody. If they fancy some fellow, they're not going to sit on the other side of the room and wait for some kind of magical thing to happen. A woman is quite prepared to go across and pick up the fellow, pass a compliment, tell him he looks nice, got nice clothes, like your hair. She might even actually give him a sudden grope. So I've heard, anyhow. And nowadays, much more direct about sex and what sex is for them. And quite rightly. I mean, women will talk about orgasms. It's my right to have an orgasm. I'm not your sexual plaything. I want. You had it last night, it's my turn tonight. But the male now doesn't know how to react in this. He was the hunter. Now he's the hunted. He doesn't know what. He can't do the foreplay. He doesn't know what to do with it. She's talking about, I want an orgasm. And I prefer one if we could have one together. Do you think you might be able to manage that? The male, he doesn't know what to do. He retreats. Basically, males now are talking about, it's like, are we going to make love? Or are you just going to lie there? He'll suddenly go, I haven't taken any precautions. He tries that. I haven't taken any precautions. She said, that's all right. I took the pill an hour ago. Go on, get out. He'll say things like he'd never said before. I've got a headache, I think. And she'll say, I've got something to cure that. There's a total turnabout now in male and female sexual relationships. The male is actually faking the orgasm. He's lying there going, don't know how to react. Because under pressure like this, the male doesn't know what to do. You get nervous, and because of that, you get tense. And you start to think of anything else. And the whole thing about pleasurable sex is to do it in a totally relaxed and open state. He's under attack. Come on. You're like, all right. And he's not, inside he's thinking, oh, I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I hope she likes it. I hope it's good. I hope it comes up. If it comes up, I hope it doesn't go down again. Oh, don't go. We don't have one of those premature ejaculations. Oh. I'm sorry, darling. This never happened before. Shit. Lovely thing of fantasy. When fantasy is introduced, the female will actually say, can't you think of anybody? So it's an escape for you. You go, no. So neither can I. Let's go back to sleep.
Right, men! Kill all the women and rape all the men! Don't you mean rape all the women and kill all the men? You play your games and I'll play mine.
I don't know what we're going to do. We've never ever been able to ever make ends meet, have we? It's all your damn fault for not earning enough anyway.
Oh, don't start.
Don't you threaten me, you weak, cowering little man. I've given you the best years of my life. You've got no drive, no ambition. That's your trouble.
Right, this is a hold-up. Get back. Come. Anybody moves, she gets it.
I can't stand that chap. Young upstart. I realized that he insulted my felicity last night.
Really?
Yes. I actually have a good mind to challenge him to a duel.
I don't think that's a very good idea.
Why not?
He's the greatest duelist in the world.
Well, I shall just have to make sure that my expertise matches his. Here comes the blighter now. Excuse me, sir. May I have a word with you?
Certainly, sir.
3 weeks ago, you insulted my wife.
Really? Very well, sir. My seconds will wait upon you. Swords at dawn.
You're still alive. Thank God. That means the 8:45 hasn't left yet.
Sam, I'll show you the sitting room first, all right?
Yes, thanks, Dave. Yeah.
Door open.
What was that?
It was the door.
Well, no, that opened on its own.
No, it didn't open on its own. The whole place is, it's the latest thing in domestic automation. Everything works on a voice command. You don't believe me, do you?
Well, no.
Watch. Door, close.
That's extraordinary.
Curtains, close. Lights, on. Fire, on.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
No. What's
Say the fire.
This is my favorite. Television. Channel 3 on. Cancel. Return.
I'm speechless. Can I have a go?
Yes, do.
Door open. Curtains open. Lights off.
Makes you feel like God,
It's
doesn't it?
amazing. Fire off. Anything else?
Everything here.
Chair. Oh. Back at me.
No! One of the other things I loved as a child was going to the cinema. And I actually feel that children today are missing a great deal. Because going to the cinema when I was a child was marvelous. It was a big event. It was an adventure. It was a moment. Nowadays, I honestly believe children would be quite happy to stand in the foyer and just play those Space Invaders. But when I went to the cinema, they were totally involved in it. A sense of excitement. The lights would go down. Every child in the cinema, we'd all cheer. Hey! The lights would just go. Hey! There was a love scene. There'd be 800 kids going, get out of here. Trying to get a tits, aren't you? If the machine broke down, the projector broke down, we didn't moan. You'd have all the kids all walking around going, and then when the lights came on again, we all moaned. Because that meant that we had to return to the real world. Our escapism was gone. And you could always tell whatever picture we'd seen by the way we all left the cinema. I mean, you knew it was a war picture. We were just walking by the cinema. 600 kids coming out going... Robin Hood. I love The Invisible Man. I'd be walking along the street and I'd be going... You saw all those children leave, weeping. You know that Lassie had cut his pad again. And there was much more value in those days as a child. You not only had a main feature, but you had a second feature. Lots of cartoons and the trailers with all the exciting bits in it. And not only that, but it was exciting to go to the movie because you had all the dodges. You didn't just go up and give them money. You didn't have the money.
So you pulled dodges. There'd be 8 or 9 of you. And only one would have the money, so you'd buy the ticket. And in you'd go. And as soon as the lights went down, you'd dash across to the exit door and fling it open. And hundreds of kids would they're in. Scatter, scatter, scatter! Because the ushers were the closest thing to a kind of reincarnation of Hitler. And the other thing was always, if you were in the cinema, to pick up an old ticket and carry it with you. Because as soon as you broke in on that scatter movement and sat down, you'd sit there and chew this bit of ticket. And the usher would come up and he'd point towards you. Did you pay to get in here? Yes. Show me your ticket. And you go, there it is. And you go, something like a lot. I used to go to the cinema in Dublin. If there's anybody from Dublin watching the show, it was called the Ranch. It's on the quays in Dublin. It wasn't actually called the Ranch, it was called the Corinthian. But there were so many cowboy pictures, all the kids called it the Ranch. Going down to the ranch. And then we discovered there was a method, if you were in the school lab, of getting a halfpenny and dipping it in silver nitrate. Made it look like a shilling, one of the old shillings. And this cashier at the ranch was very short-sighted. So you take and give it a silver halfpenny, and she'd give you 8 change. They'd have a full house, and it'd only take about 3 quid. Do you know, and I love the movie. I've been going to the pictures, for 33 years of my life. And I have never, ever actually seen anybody in the movies go to the lavatory. I don't mean I actually want to see them go to the lavatory. I just want to know that they go. I just love to hear somebody say, excuse me, I'm just going to the lavatory. And they never do. Have you ever seen anybody in a movie go to the lavatory? Have you? God, that was difficult, wasn't it? I mean, you take a movie like The 10 Commandments. There's Moses and 40,000 Jewish people, and they walk from Egypt to the Promised Land. And not one person ever said to Moses, excuse me, Moses, do you mind if I dart behind the hill and have a crack? 55 days in Hekong. 55 days in Peking. They do everything. They make love, they kill, they have babies, they dance, they eat, but nobody does nothing. Nobody ever says, I'm just going to the lavatory. I'm not surprised the Chinese didn't want the place afterwards. I mean, you'd think with a movie like Gone with the Wind, somebody would have done something. Cowboy pictures. How many times have you seen cowboy pictures? The saloon. Have you ever just seen a sign that says lavatory? Gents. And those cowboys are eating beans and drinking beer all day. They don't even fart. They do, that's why they're shooting off those guns all the time. But it's not only the people, the animals. You see all those horses have you ever looked at the ground? There's nothing on it. I live in the country, I walk 5 minutes. It's everywhere. Put in those cowboy pictures, all those horses tied up, nothing. Get those great ranchers bringing in thousands of cattle, nothing. I mean, how did they do it? How did they stop it? Is it kind of 3 minutes before they start taking the movie, they say, all right, put the corks in. I mean, you see a stampede of buffalo. 20,000 buffaloes stampeding. Now, why do animals stampede? Because they're frightened. And what happens to any living creature on this earth when he's frightened? Your anal nerve goes. And yet when that dust clears, 20,000 buffalo, there's not one turd on the ground.
Television is much more realistic. I've been sitting here drinking. And that means that I will. Because there are some things that a man must do alone. What? While I'm gone, we'll show you our version of some of the great film classics. I'll go home, miss. Jack the Ripper's about.
Miss.
Oh. Hello, ducky.
The Ripper. Well done. The Commissioner shall hear of this. Dr. Jekyll.
All right, Clarissa, you know, now you're playing Mary, Queen of Scots.
How?
Take the cigarette out of your mouth, you stupid broad. You're gonna get your head cut off in a moment, all right? You walk in here, put your head on the block,
Yeah.
look into the lens, a last smile, all right?
Yeah.
Axeman, you raise your axe slowly, I will cue you. Are you
Okay,
all right
sure,
now?
yeah.
Sure. Okay, we're going for a take here now. You ready, Harry? Yeah. Okay. Roll 'em.
Slate 14, take 1, 2, 7.
All right, Clarissa. Action! That's lovely. Head down. All right, Axeman, bring your axe up slowly. Nice and dramatically. Right to the top now. Hold it. Right, hold it at the top there. Cut!
Good evening, Mr. President, Mrs. Lincoln. Hope you enjoy the show.
I'm sure we will.
Good. Come along, dear.
Thank you.
Here we are. Good evening.
Then 2 minutes to 0. UK Smith, Kowalski, Morelli, Palmer, you guys okay? All right, just before we go, a few words. You all know how vitally important this mission is.
You also know that our chances of coming out of it alive are 0. But you 6 men have been chosen because you're 6 men who love to fight. And I couldn't ask to have 5 better men than you 4. It's not only that you're men who love to fight, but if you believe in something as strongly as you 3 do, you're prepared to give up your lives for it. Makes me feel proud to stand here beside you 2, knowing that the pair of us will do our duty for God and country. If this mission is successful,
Hey! Wait for me! Wait for me!
At last, I've succeeded in perfecting the machine that will give me invisibility. Just think of it. As the Invisible Man, a whole new life will open up before me. I can move from room to room without being seen. Nothing will be hidden from me. Now to achieve my lifelong ambition.
I, Richard of Gloucester, whom some do call a knave, with my own hand dispatched her husband, the prince, unto the grave. And now she hates me. But love is close to hate, is it not? And I, with sweet words, yea, and with tears, will prove to her that all was done for love. And by such words will wipe away her mournful frown. I'll marry her, and so to gain the crown. Teach not thy lips such scorn, my lady. They were made for kissing, not for such contempt. Thy revengeful heart cannot forgive. Lo, here, I lend thee this sharp-pointed sword, which if thou please to hide in this true breast, and set forth a soul that adoreth thee, I lay it naked to the deadly stroke, and humbly beg my death upon my knee. You are not supposed to do that.
You notice that nowadays, whatever you do, say, or wear, somebody's trying to analyze psychologically what the whole hidden meaning or hidden message is behind it all. Scientists tell us that something like 35% of all communication is made in words. The rest of it is made up in the way we dress, the sounds that we make, the hand gestures that we make, and what we call body language. For example, we're told that we tell a great deal about ourselves and our inner selves by the colors that we wear. For example, people who wear yellow are basically depressed. And they're trying to brighten themselves up by wearing yellow. Can you imagine that? Mm-hmm. I'll wear yellow. And they know inwardly that yellow doesn't suit them. So they become even more depressed than they were before they put the yellow on. I mean, brown, we are told, if you wear brown, you're insecure. You're shy, you need lots of confidence building. Gray. We're told if we wear gray that we're wearing gray because we don't want people to know what we're really like. It's a kind of nondescript color. Well, I'm wearing gray. Blue. You wear blue, you're calm, easy. White, clean, pure, untouched, virginal. Why do nuns wear black? Red. Red, as far as women are concerned, is sexually aggressive. That's what they're actually saying. They come into a room and they're actually saying, this is my body. It's mine and I'm proud of it. And it does wonderful things. Look at it. Look at it. And it's going to take yours and gobble it up in a moment. And in a week, she's wearing black, saying he couldn't take it. Wow. We're told that red, black, and white, extremely aggressive. I mean, look. I'm wearing black, I'm wearing white, I'm wearing gray, I'm wearing blue, I'm calm, I'm virginal, slightly aggressive. Well, I don't know what I'm mourning, but I think I know. There's also, when we talk about communication, there's the body language. It's become now, in a sense, a science. People actually believe in what the body language. There's all sorts of gestures, messages we send through our body. We'll be sitting very still, but our body is sending all sorts of messages. For example, if I do things like this, that means I'm pleased with myself. I'm pleased with. I'm a smug little bastard. I'm smug. And I get to folding the arms. Folding the arms is, in a sense, telling you or other people to back off. I don't really want contact with you. This is my territory. Stay out, okay? I'm building barriers, so push off. See? This, the legs. When I do that, I'm guarding the genitalia. That's what I'm doing. I really don't want anything to do with you whatsoever, okay? And if I do this as well, I'm really telling you, push off. You're not gonna screw me. Open hands, if we do things like that. Now listen to me, please. Now listen to me. I'm being totally honest. Let's open hands, open gestures. Sit with your legs open. See? It means that you're sexually available. That's what you're... All the legs in the front row have gone. That's what it's saying. Honestly, I'm sexually available. And when you do things like, when you're sitting in a chair and your legs are, and you just kind of pointing with your foot. You're inadvertently sending out messages to the person that you'd like to have sex with. I'm sexually available. Not the cameraman. I'm not talking to the cameraman. I'm talking to the fellow behind him. There's all sorts of signs. I mean, when you actually think of gestures, aggressive gestures, have you ever noticed that there's no aggressive gestures that are down? Have you noticed that? They're all up, aren't they? I mean, that's an aggressive... Yeah! You never do. I mean, if you're in a car and somebody goes, you wouldn't... You wouldn't mean it. You gotta go, yeah. All those signs are all up, like... somebody behind you in the car blowing a horn. You get a mirror and you go, that wouldn't. You wouldn't put your hand out the window and go. Then, in fact, I mean, there are things we're not supposed to do. Natural. Your body behaves in a natural way. Yawning, for example. I mean, yawn. When you yawn, what actually happens is your body is taking in more oxygen. But somebody, somewhere along the line, has applied what they would call rules, good manners. You never yawn. You never yawn. Parents, don't do that. Stop that. Cover your mouth up. So when you have a yawn, you want to yawn, you go, you know. You ever seen people say, you can break your jaw. But in your own house, in the privacy of your own house, when you actually wake up in the morning, don't you yawn? And it's beautiful. You don't sit in bed when you wake up in the morning. Clang, 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 clang. You don't go. You go. And your wife the whole house. It's the same as scratching. You get a scratch. You get itchy. You scratch, don't you? In your own household, you scratch. Good, it's lovely. Oh, it's great to scratch. It's a warm, marvelous thing. Oh, it's body contact as well as you actually get other members of your family to scratch you. Scratch, scratch, scratch. There, down. Oh, up. Don't cover your mouth. Yawn properly. She's sitting out there going. What do you do when you're talking about scratch? You actually get members of you, don't you? Have you ever got your scratch? There. Just down. Oh, up, over. And yet in public, we're not allowed to scratch. We're not allowed to contact our bodies. And you find yourself going to talk to your bank manager, trying to borrow money. In the middle of this discussion about rates and interest, you get a little itch. You won't go, excuse me, I have an itch. I'm about to scratch it, all right? There's nothing filthy or dirty or unclean. I happen to have an itch there. And that would be it, finish. You don't do that. You sit there and and the itch begins to spread. You get your hand in your pocket. And if you have a yawn at the same time, it looks like you're having a fit. You're sitting there going, it actually looks like we've come to the end of the show. But I have one last item.
The entrance was modified to suit the new orientation, and the avenue leading up from the banks of the River Avon was completed. Stage 3A, circa 1500 BC, the blue stones were taken down, the site was levelled, and the great Sarsen stones we still see were brought from the Marlborough Downs and erected as we see them today after having been in an outer circle with lintels and an inner horseshoe composed of 5 pairs of uprights with lintels was erected and the entrance was again modified. Phase 3B, 1500 to 1400.
there you have it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Good night, and may your God go with you.